Hi there. That's a cute dog. Today we're going to draw cute dogs, cute critters of various kinds. I'm Danny Gregory. I'm a less than cute critter, but I don't know, you could draw me too. Not really. Today we are going to have some fun and just play around. Playing and making is the drill today. So I just feel like relaxing. I feel like not beating myself up about whether or not I've captured a likeness, and I want to play with my iPad. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I hope that you're going to be doing something fun at your end. It's so nice to see so many of my friends here, Gail and Grace and Georgina and Thistle and Raynell, Lisa, Marcel, Jen Cahill, Stephanie, Joanna. I mean, it just goes on and on. Robert and John. Thank you all for joining me. It's so nice to have all of my friends here today to draw together. Speaking of friends, I got a really nice present from one of my friends. This is a sketchbook that was made by my friend Roz Stendel. I'm sure you've heard me talk about Roz before. She's one of my oldest friends. We've been drawing together for more than 20 years. She's been inspiring me, and occasionally she'll make me one of these sketchbooks. Not one of these. This is a particularly special one, and it is filled with some really beautiful paper. So a lot of times we think like a sketchbook is a sketchbook is a sketchbook, but sometimes you get a sketchbook that is like next level. And certainly when Roz makes them, and she hand binds them, and Roz is also an expert on all kinds of art supplies. So I want to just read you briefly from the little letter that she sent me that went with it. She said that this book is made with a rare and special paper called De Wint from a mill called Barcham Green. That was a paper mill in England that's now defunct because apparently it was so old that they had to, in order to continue doing business, they had to do it in an historical preservation mode that was so incredibly expensive to accomplish that they weren't able to. So they had to go out of business, or they had to start, I think, making the paper elsewhere. But she says that this paper, it was that Turner used this kind of paper, and it is you can use watercolor gouache, pen and ink, colored pencil, and it's cold press. It's very textured. It's very heavy, and of course it's brown. So I've seen Roz use this kind of paper and do amazing things with it. So she's made me lots of different kinds of books with different kinds of paper over the years, but this is a nice big one, and it's particularly heavy paper. She says, anyway, that's the scoop on this paper. She goes on and on and on about it, as Roz tends to do. But she says, most of all, I think you'll have some fun with it, noodling around on it, knowing it's special. Anyway, that's the scoop on this paper. Elegant, rare, needing to be used to be its best self. Paper is like a metaphor for life. She says the main thing is to muck it up and have fun, knowing that you're working on a paper very much like the paper that Ruskin and Turner and the pre-Raphaelites would have used, with gelatin sizing, which is becoming sadly rare these days and which we will never see again. Boy, more metaphors. So paper is a metaphor for life. I like it. And it's true. Like when I first got this, I wrote to her and I was like, this is gorgeous, fabulous. I'm afraid to use it. And she said, don't be ridiculous. That's what it's there for. There's nothing more sad than a beautiful sketchbook that nobody's used. Maybe you have beautiful sketchbooks in your cupboard that you haven't used. Take them out. Honestly, we agonize over these things, right? You buy a really nice sketchbook and it costs like $20, and you think, a $20 sketchbook that might take you 3 or 4 months to fill, amortized, less than a cup of coffee a week, or whatever the things are that they use, the analogies that they use. So anyway, I'm going to be using this. I'm not going to be using it yet because I don't have my full complement of gouache yet here in Phoenix. I have it in New York, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be doing some gouache paintings next week when we do the gouache portrait workshop with August Wren, which I know you've already signed up for. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But anyway, this is a really nice, my very first birthday present of the year. Excited. My birthday is tomorrow. Can't wait. Won't sleep tonight. ever since I was a little kid, I think it was about 4 or 5, I came up with this thing that I would say to myself on the night of before my birthday. I would say, tonight a 4-year-old will die. Tomorrow a 5-year-old will be born. And I continue to say that either to other people or usually in the end to myself, just this is my fate. This old, crusty, used up version of me is going to die and the new one will come out. I think it was because I was really into, do you remember learning about how, what kind of creatures was it? Butterflies, maybe, that they would form a chrysalis at a certain point, right? They would go and they would form this chrysalis and then they would burst out of it, and it would look just like the insect, but then they would burst out of it and there would be a new one that would come out. That's going to be me, the new one. Probably won't be that different from the old one, but it will be new. Yes, as Lisa points out, it is Virgo season. I am a Virgo. I am a triple Virgo, whatever that means, not sure, but somebody once told me that, so that's what I am and will stick with. So anyway, but today is Cute Critter Day. Oh, I just want to say a couple of other things briefly, not in the way of announcements, but some of you have signed up to get texts from me, right? Which you can do. You can text me at this number. And generally I'm texting almost every day with people. It's really nice. And I just send them like little things that I find or little drawings that I do, and they write back to me. It's really nice. Lots and lots of ways to communicate. And texting is really easy because you got your phone, you take a picture of your thing, you send it out by text, you talk about it. It's really cool. So if you haven't don't do it. If you're not in the United States, I'm afraid it doesn't work yet. So if that's the case, reach me some other way. I'm sure you can figure that out if you need to. But texting me is really fun and easy. And those of you who are doing it, I'm sure can attest to that. What else? Another thing is also Danny's List. Danny's List is a weekly email that I send out. I'm going to send one out tomorrow on my birthday, about my birthday, in fact. But generally, it's intended to be inspiration. A lot of people like them. A lot of people read them and write back to me. So it's free. It's no commitment of any kind to get it. Just go there, tell me that you want it, and I'll send it to you. So sketchbookskool.com/Danny's-list. I'll leave that up for a minute. So that's it. And one other thing, which is, of course, if you make a drawing today and you want to share it with me or with the rest of our friends out here, make sure you put this hashtag on it. Hashtag #SBSDrawWithMe. Put it on social media, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram. We'll find it, we'll love it, and we'll talk about it and share it. So hashtag #SBSDrawWithMe or in the schoolyard. All right, that's enough business. So Holly, welcome. Take a seat. We're about to get started. Renee says that it means my sun, moon, and rising stars are in Virgo. I guess that's what it means, but it also apparently means that I exemplify Virgo characteristics, which supposedly are like kind of being bossy and anal, which I sort of am, but not terribly. Renee, maybe if you can tell me anything more about what I'm supposed to be like, thanks to the time of my birth, that would be helpful. Then I'll know how to be true. But Marilyn is getting my texts, and she likes them. That's great. Thank you, Marilyn. I've enjoyed texting with you, too. So let's get into this. Yes, Rosa, I'm sorry that it only works for the United States. International phone regulations, I don't really know. It's hard to just do that. So my wife is pointing out that I'm very organized and get a lot done. Maybe. Okay, so let's get going. Let's do this. Let us do this. Let's move on to the iPad here. Okay, so are you guys ready? If you haven't downloaded the reference yet, you can see the thing down there in the corner. It'll give you the reference. It's nice to have the reference. It will help you to draw along with us, but I'm also going to put the pictures of the critters up here. Okay, we're going to draw different critters. Now, I'm personally not going to... Let's start with this bunny. He's cute. Here's the thing about this bunny is I'm not going to draw like a really accurate picture of this bunny. I'm just not into it. Instead, oh good, the lawn guys are here. Must be time. So I'm just gonna draw whatever comes to mind. I'm just gonna interpret it however I want to, and Yeah, I'm just going to do it in my old style. So don't worry about the fact that it's an iPad. Just do it. Just figure it out. Draw with whatever material you want. I think I need to have. He's a white bunny, so I think I need to put him in an environment that will show him off. And let's see. No, that's not brown. I want a white bunny. Okay, so it was interesting looking at pictures of cute animals in preparation for this. Is sometimes cute animals, if you look at them carefully or you look at them from the wrong angle, they're kind of terrifying. They have a certain, I don't know if terrifying is the right way, but they could just as easily be monstrous as cute. But maybe that says something about the world, you know? Looks like he has sort of udders, but we'll deal with that in a minute. I do not want a large lactating rabbit. That will not do. No, that's not cute. So yeah, think about cute animals. I remember, like many people, of course, being a kid, being obsessed with Walt Disney and, you know, all the cute, I mean, those Walt Disney animators are certainly masters of the cute, right? And it still looks like it has udders. What the hell am I going to do? All right, I'm going to have to come up with some new strategy for how to draw his feet. No? So, yeah. You know what? I'm going to start again. I'm not happy with this thing as I was worried I wouldn't be, because I got to just get looser. Got to get loose. No, that's too loose. How would I think a bunny looks? That's what I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw how I think a bunny looks. I'm not going to get distracted by this picture because, you know, it's just a picture. It's just a reference picture. I don't have to use it. You know, so that's going to be key. Is I need to warm up. That's a key thing in drawing is to make sure that you're at room temperature at least, because if you're if you're tight. So yeah, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw 100 bunnies. Well, maybe not 100, but I'm going to draw a bunch of bunnies. Sort of interestingly quizzical bunny there. I mean, what makes a bunny a bunny? A bunny needs to have big ears, big eyes, although this bunny seems to have sort of like a horse-like face, which is one of the things I was saying. When you really study these creatures, you go, yeah, that's not really cute. It's kind of terrifying. And then you need the cute pink inner ears. That's another key part of being a bunny. Is this, pink is a cute color. Got to focus on your cute colors. Oh, good, I froze. This happens sometimes with Procreate. You'll find if you're drawing a lot with it that it just will freeze. So, what drawing tablet am I using? I'm using an iPad. Yes, Danette. Old-fashioned paper and pencil works perfectly well. Today, I'm not into that though. Today, I am embracing the new. Maybe because I'm getting old. So it's time to focus on the new. All right, I'm kind of liking where this bunny is going, so I'm afraid that my other bunny friends are going to have to go. So yeah, so this is an important lesson that I've just reminded myself of, which is sometimes you've got to change strategy when you're doing a drawing. Don't get hung up on what you originally wanted to do. You can just say, you know what, that I'm finding that that reference was really slowing me down. And I want to embody cuteness, so I have to think about what is cuteness. What is it that makes things cute? So as I was saying about Disney stuff, certainly a thing that makes things cute is to have a big head, to have big eyes. Those are the things that make things cute. And what does cute really mean? Have kind of a vulnerable mouth. Cute generally means baby-like, like a human baby. What are the things that, make us go, oh, that's so cute? It's generally things that are babyish, baby-like, infantile. Having like hunched shoulders can be cute, but so can having a long neck sometimes. So yeah, but I think generally big eyes, big wet eyes, and kind of a plaintive, oh, please help me, please feed me, those kinds of things. That's part of what it is. So I'm going to give him some reflections in his eyes to make them look wet. Makes him cuter. Maybe a little bit of reflection in his nose. Makes him look healthy. You know what else? I think he needs to be fuzzy. I think that's the problem that I'm having with this. He needs to be fuzzier. So I'm going to have to take something that looks fuzzy. Maybe a crayon. Crayon could be nice. Cute. Cute-ish. This is going to be a very personal point of view that I'm about to express. When I was a kid growing up, not in America, cute wasn't really a word that we used. If you're not American, you just don't use cute that way. There are other words that English people or Australian people use to represent cute, but that cute isn't really one of them. Cute always felt very American. Oh, that's so cute. And in fact, my mother used to deride us when we would use the word cute, and she would always say, oh, it's so American. Why are you using that word? So I've always had a certain kind of ambivalence about that word, cute. My wife will use the word cute to describe just about anything that I make. She'll say, oh, that's cute. And I'll think, is it? Like, it's not serious, in other words. It's not good. It's just cute. Kind of like a performing animal is cute. So cute isn't necessarily great, right? Cute is just cute. What do you think? It's the artist devil! All right, please leave. We're not interested in devils here. Okay, this is a supremely fuzzy, cute. Yes, Lisa says cute can be annoying. It's true. Cute can be not serious. Cute can be an excuse for not being serious. But we love cute today, and cute is what we're going to do. So, all right. I think it's time to make another thing that is... I'm going to be using some cute paper. Fuzzier paper. Oh, good. I'm going to make it... Yeah, another color. Let's say pinkish color this time. So let's make a yellowish background. Oof, that looks kind of cool. All right, so let's see who... So we've kind of exhausted this bunny. I'm exhausted by him. I think I want to draw this guy instead. A pig! Wilbur. Wilbur the pig. Is it Wilbur the pig? There's so many cute pigs. There's Babe. There's... who's the pig? Wilbur was in Charlotte's Web, right? Yeah, that was a cute pig. Similar deal with the big ears with this pig. Big ears. Not such big eyes, but we'll make his eyes bigger just to make him cuter. You know, I mean, pigs go from cute to not cute pretty quickly, right? I mean, a big pig is not cute. I don't think. A big pig is tasty, perhaps, but not necessarily cute. I think my pig is becoming more of a big pig, bit rougher, bit less cute, but maybe we can make him cuter as we go. Let's see. How are your pigs coming? Pig's quite hairy, bristly, bristles, except for that delicate nose. I'm going to figure out some way to make that nose really look a little less soft. Debbie points out that pigs are as intelligent as dogs. I've heard that too. You know, I remember going to visit my father one time. He had a farmhouse in sort of northernish England, near Nottingham. And I went to visit him when I was a kid. And he had a big sow whose name was Ears. And Ears was kind of like more of a pet than a farmyard animal. And she would come into the house, and when we were watching TV, she would come and just get on the couch. This is not a cute animal. This was a 300-pound animal. And that was a significant contribution to the evening, having a large, malodorous pig. But at one point she had piglets, and I happened to be visiting at the time, and the piglets were all in a stall in the sort of barn, and the stall had double doors, like Dutch doors, like in Mr. Ed, and we opened the doors to look at the piglets, and I just remember every single one of those piglets had a different expression when it looked up at us. Completely different human expression. You know, some were like, "Oh yeah." Some were like, "Is that food?" Some said, "Oh hi." I mean, every single one of them had a different cute expression. And I thought, that's an unusual animal. That is something that is more than a meal. Terrible thing to say. Yeah, more than a meal. The pig. All right, this was fun. I've enjoyed drawing this little pig. All right, animals are people too, says Thistle. They just have different priorities. Yeah, their priorities, I mean, I think we have some of their priorities. The priorities are generally about just being, eating, reproducing. That's what my studies of birds in our backyards have concluded, that they're pretty simple, the things that they want to do. They're really concerned with other members of their species, whether to fight with them or mate with them. They're sort of interested in other species, generally in order to eat them, and they're concerned about larger species, generally to avoid being eaten by them. That seems to be kind of what it's all about. But that's not cute. We're focusing on cuteness here. So there, he has some she maybe has some eyelashes. But I think male pigs also have eyelashes. This one seems to. They're kind of those sort of albino eyelashes, though. They're white. But to make mine cute, mine's a little pinker. So yeah, good. Thank you. That's our pig. We're done with him. Her, or it. So, let's move on to another creature. Koala. So the koala is, I remember reading an article a long time ago about koalas, and I just remember either the headline or the subhead of the article was, "Koalas, they're actually smelly and mean." It's like, really? Terrible thing to say about an animal. Smelly and mean. Sorry, koala. That's what you are. I haven't seen many koalas in life, despite spending some formative years in Australia, their home. Oh, that looks like my paper from Ross. It really does, look. Very similar. Good. This will be a good practice then for when I start using that fabulous sketchbook. I don't know if you saw any of the really tragic images of koalas that were caught in the brush fires recently. It's just so sad to see. These poor creatures. Koala bears, they call them. Although I think they're not bears, they're marsupials. So this reference picture is useful because I think if I had thought to draw a koala, I would have probably given him ears like that, which are cuter. And this one has like really big furry ears like that. But I've drawn two creatures now with big ears, the pig and the rabbit, so Let's just make these a little smaller, a little, if you will, cuter. I don't think this guy is terribly cute. What do you think? Not terribly cute. Sort of cute. Sort of vulnerable. But a little kind of horrifying too. Something about these, as I said, there's something about these cute animals that is kind of terrifying. But it has, its shaggy, furry quality is nice. Its color is sort of interesting. I think I'm just going to focus on the faces. That seems to be the more successful route. I haven't figured out a strategy yet for drawing cute bodies. I'm not sure if this is actually a photograph. It looks like it might be some kind of weird computer-generated koala. So again, what's cute? In this case, small eyes are kind of cute. I think if you had almost small, like button-like eyes, that's kind of cute. He has nostrils, but I think I'm going to kind of ignore them because they're a little off-putting and horse-like. Horses can be cute, but not the nostrils are not cute. So yeah, again, you've got to pick your features, but feel free to viciously edit this animal. We're doing him no disservice. We're not eating him, but we are slicing off bits of his anatomy that don't fit our agenda. Perfectly fine. We are in charge. We are humans. Whoops. We are humans. We are artists. We have the upper hand. We are the most powerful creatures on earth. We artists, I meant, not humans. Although humans are, of course, goes without saying, the most powerful. He's getting cuter, I think. I think I need to just sharpen up his eyes, make his eyes more distinct. Drawing on the iPad is a really different process, I find, in many ways, from drawing on a piece of paper. It can be. It doesn't have to be. You can simulate. You can essentially do exactly what you would do with an iPad, and I know a lot of people who do that. But you can also do something completely different, which is essentially to be a painter. And, as a painter, you make different kinds of decisions. You are used to thinking about layers and also about moving things around. That's one of the things, as an oil painter, you have the ability to completely move a part of the drawing, of the painting, to just move, erase it or kind of repaint over it and move it somewhere else. There's just so many options that you have as a painter. I love drawing, don't get me wrong, but there are times when it is, it's just a different experience. It's much more, to me, much more about recording my observation, but painting allows me to really be more of a fabulist. Is that the right term? Kind of making stuff up. Is that what a fabulist is? Or is a fabulist? This guy's looking at him, he's actually looking kind of sinister, isn't he? Yes. All right. Somebody's agitating. Claire, you want to know my phone number? By all means, let me just put it here. Let me get rid of this thing, and I'll put my text number there, okay? There you go. How did he become sinister, this guy? By having these kind of, see, just a little subtle thing, having these lines above his eyes that were slightly arched, took him from being cute to being kind of judgmental. Now he looks a bit more surprised. Maybe that makes him more vulnerable. Maybe he just needs a little mouth. There you go. See? That made all the difference. Interesting. So yeah, these are the things that we discover as we play around with this stuff. You know, it's really an adventure. Sort of feeling a little Bob Rossian now, as I don't know why I said that, but it's true. All right, that guy's kind of nice and fuzzy. He's sort of cute. You might find him mildly disturbing, as I do. But as I said, maybe that's because I was channeling that thing I said at the beginning about koalas, that I'd heard that they were nasty and smelly. Bad-tempered, might bite you. I don't know if that's true. If we have any Aussies out there, or anybody, not that Aussies necessarily know this. It's not like you're constantly coming across koalas in Australia. It's sort of like saying, oh, you're American, you must be familiar with mountain lions. No. Anyway. All right, that was fun. What do we think of next? Apprehensive. That's true, Laura. He does look sort of apprehensive. I wonder if this is a wise place for me to be. But the original one looks a little quizzical too, right? So, yeah. Maybe I've misrepresented this, and it's not about drawing cute animals. It's starting with cute animals and then turning them into something possibly horrifying. That's what I just managed to do. Hopefully yours are much cuter. But this hedgehog, come on. How you might be asking yourself, how's this guy going to screw this one up? Because that is cute. That guy is cute. Look at him. When you think of a hedgehog, what do you think of primarily? You think of obviously the little the spikes, not like a porcupine, but so yeah, you see his face now, and his ears. I wouldn't have even really thought to give him ears. I think there's no way around the fact that a hedgehog we have to draw his body. There's just no way around that, because I used to have a really perfect brush for this too. What was it called? Doesn't really matter. I mean, I generally try to avoid like, oh, I know the perfect brush to use, because you don't want to be. This is what it is. This is actually a brush that I really think is an interesting brush. Don't use it that often, but every time I do, it kind of reminds me. Look at that. It reminds me of like some kind of sort of 1960s style of illustration. Any of you who know much about illustration might be able to explain to me what it is I mean by that. But it's kind of nice. I just like making this thing. I mean, you could do this with like a ballpoint pen probably too, but there's an illustrator named Brad Holland, who you might have heard of, who is really, really good illustrator. And this thing kind of reminds me of him a bit. This look. This doesn't really look like a hedgehog, but it reminds me of a hedgehog, and that's the main thing. And now I think what I'm going to do is something, now that I'm thinking about Brad Holland and I'm thinking about this old style of illustration, I feel like the need to do something that's kind of scratchy, which is probably appropriate for a cute animal. I mean, not a cute animal, but for a hedgehog. He's cute. Have you ever seen a hedgehog in real life? I don't know that I ever have. There's sort of an interesting combination of, on the one hand, seeming kind of cute and vulnerable, right? That, kind of big beady eyes. Not beady, but shiny. And also little nose and little feet. But on the same token, being a bit menacing because they have, they have those, what are they called? Spines? What are those things called? Spikes? Quills. Are they quills? Quills, right? Are they quills, or porcupines have quills? I don't know if hedgehogs have quills. I mean, because porcupines' quills are definitely quills. I mean, they're almost quill-like. They're hollow. Quills, yeah. A lot of people are saying quills. Little fingers. I've never really done a drawing like this before, so this is sort of a bit of a discovery. But I was kind of inspired by his, we'll call them quills. So there you have it. I don't know. Menacing. Okay, Paul says they're too small to be menacing. Yeah, it's true. They're just trying to protect themselves. It's true. They're like I guess it's like a little tiny cactus. Now that I'm an Arizonan, that's my point of reference. Cactuses. All right, I'm done with this guy. Sorry. Kind of got over my head with that. Okay. Cactus with feet, yes. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry. Okay, let me just draw something that I know I like to draw. Dogs. I like to draw dogs. I often draw dogs. Dogs are just about my favorite animals. What am I fighting it for? Why am I fighting this? Just draw dogs, Gregory. Trying to show off by drawing things that I don't draw. So it's time to draw things that I do draw. All right, having raised expectations, let me begin. Now, wiener dogs are really fun to draw. Fun to own, too. All right, I'm going to make up for it by drawing lots of wiener dogs. Because honestly, I could draw them forever. And you can't draw a wiener dog that isn't cute, even if they're vicious and baring their teeth and heading for your jugular. They're just laughable. Laughable dogs. I'm going to give this guy a spiked collar just to make him even tougher. But honestly, wiener dogs, I miss my wieners. All right, we're going to make lots of wiener dogs. I should have just called this cute wiener dogs. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have just said, let's make wiener. This is the first kind of dog I drew when I was probably 3 or 4. I used to draw this kind of dog a lot. Super long, and with a long nose and just that hanging down ear. Honestly, I can't tell you how many times I've drawn this guy, that particular wiener dog. I remember writing a book when I was about 6 called The Knight and the Dachshund. And it was about a knight who traveled around with a dachshund. I don't remember much more about it than that, but yeah. That was a literary classic in the making. So join me and draw lots and lots of wiener dogs. I promise you it'll make you feel great. You know, because look, the thing about a wiener dog is you can't. Here, let's make a really cute one. Wiener dogs are cute when their ears are kind of go up a bit. See if I can emulate that. Like, huh? They're easy to draw and they're instantly recognizable. They're the perfect artist dog. In fact, Picasso loved wiener dogs, owned several. In fact, I have a book somewhere which is just about his relationship with his wiener dogs, and he did paintings of them. David Hockney loved wiener dogs, also did many paintings of them. So I rest my case. It is a good dog for an artist to have. Name a better one. I dare you. Let's draw a black wiener dog instead. With a drooping nose. German Shepherds? I don't know, Robert. What artist had German Shepherds? Why would an artist have a German Shepherd? Unless it was to protect his studio or something. That's not true. I used to own a quasi-German Shepherd, Frank. He was kind of a German Shepherd light, and he was a good dog. German Shepherds are good dogs. I'm not doubting that. You see, this guy has... I like this guy. He's turning out well. There we go. I like that guy. French bulldogs are cute. Oh, Robert, you have one. Well, okay, I take it back then. I know at least one artist that has a German Shepherd. Fair enough. All right, let's draw this last one. Last one, because we're you know, I can and probably will spend the rest of the day doing this, drawing these wiener dogs. But this, I think, is fulfilling the assignment, at least for me. Thing about dachshunds, they're dwarves. I don't mean that in a pejorative way. That they are a dwarf breed. They were distorted by breeders to be dwarves. And that's why they're not only short, but they have kind of dwarf bodies. Short, very I mean, they take a long limb and they make it about 4 inches long. And they have back problems. But they, despite all that, are good animals. All right, pencils down. Exactly. Thistle points out that they could fit down a badger hole. It's true. They're hunting dogs, whether you know it or not. They hunt rodents and badgers, but those are the big ones. Those giant dachshunds. Now most people have miniatures, which is what we had to. So good. Wiener dogs are great dogs. Though Charles Schultz made a good argument for beagles too. It's true. Snoopy's a cute dog. Not a big fan of the beagle. I don't really want to insult anybody who's a beagle owner, but I'm very opinionated about these matters. Jack Russell, good dog. Yes. I'm not debating whether these are good dogs. I'm just saying, what is the dog that's going to inspire an artist? Inspire him to greatest heights? The first wiener dog I ever encountered belonged to my grandparents, and it was kind of bad-tempered, and it bit my sister. So they're not necessarily good dogs, but they're inspiring. Or not, I don't know. Okay, good. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. I hope to hear from you in the future in one way or another. I'm going to be sending out that essay tomorrow about my birthday. If you want to get it, make sure that you sign up here. And Lisa's not feeling inspired. Okay. You're probably a cat owner. Is that what it is? Anyway, it was fun drawing cute critters with you. We never got around to the sloth. But honestly, I snuck that sloth in there for Morgan, and I think Morgan's not here today. So, to heck with it. Maybe we'll draw it separately. If you do draw anything and you want to share it, don't forget to put the hashtag SBS Draw with me. And, I'll put mine out there in various forms too. Put them in the schoolyard. We'll keep making stuff. So I'll see you guys next week. I'll be older, but then again, so will you. So we'll have done so many more drawings before then, so we'll be even more accomplished. So thank you all for joining me, and thank you for drawing with me, more importantly. Make sure you continue to bring more cute critters into the world in your sketchbook, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.